Okay, so we're back. Thanks for joining us for the next round. So I guess we're going to talk about Mayweather, the face of boxing, as some people call him. Do you think he's the face of boxing?
I think so. At this point, I think so.
Yeah, Tommy, what do you think?
Well, let's talk about his fight against Cotto, which was a really good fight.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
It was actually, I actually enjoyed it. I usually don't enjoy a Mayweather fight because he's always running away, blah blah blah.
That's not true.
But in this fight, he actually gave the fans what they wanted, and it was a toe-to-toe fight. And I felt Cotto got in there in some rounds and really got to his jaw, made him bleed through the nose for like the first time in a long time or something like that.
Yeah.
And I still scored it. I still had Mayweather winning. I felt that the judges in that fight didn't do it justice either, because they had it landslide for Mayweather, and I felt it was a little closer than that.
Actually, he did win by a landslide. Mayweather only lost 2 of those rounds. That's my opinion. But you know, the thing is Mayweather's a gifted fighter. I mean, as far as fighters go, people like him come by once a generation.
Right.
I think honestly, I think there's a C-level fighter who's your basic, you know, he's a taxi driver during the day, a fighter during the night. There's your B-level fighter who's a decent fighter, you know, probably has a record of, you know, such and such wins with a few losses. Then there's your A-level fighter who's wins championships, and then there's what's known as a gifted fighter. And gifted fighters come by once in a generation, and Mayweather's a gifted fighter. I mean, he told Cotto, you pick your weight, pick your gloves, pick whatever you want, and I'll meet you at that spot, and I'll beat you up, and he did it.
Well, it was actually for his 154 championship, so.
It was for his 154. He didn't have any stipulations, and that's what gifted fighters do. They, you know, they win fights, and, you know, they don't try and take advantage of you by, you know, I'm not trying to put Pacquiao down, but once again, they don't drain you and ask for catch weights. They say, you come at your best, and I'll meet you at your best, and I'll beat you, which is what Mayweather does.
Well,
that's what he's done since the 90s. It's what, 16, 17 years of domination.
Cotto's best was 147, 140, not 154. He's only had one other fight at 154.
It's a more natural weight for Cotto. Yeah. But even 154 at this stage in his career, he carries that well. He carries that well.
No, he was defending his championship.
Right.
So it's not like he picked it. He's defending his championship.
No, I don't believe that Cotto should fight at 147. I agree that 154 is a comfortable weight for him. I mean, that fight was fair and square, and Mayweather won.
I guess I have some problems with people just refusing to give Mayweather his credit. I mean, the guy, you know, his 17th fight was for a belt. I mean, he's been basically dominating the sport since the 90s. There's no other fighter who's done that.
Well, supposedly Pacquiao was the one who could bring that to an end, but after last night's performance, I highly doubt that's true. And the sad part about it is that the fans will probably never get to see that fight happen, Pacquiao Mayweather.
The lure of it is now gone.
Well,
with this loss of Pacquiao.
Realistically, Pacquiao never had a shot against Mayweather, regardless. I mean, Mayweather is a gifted counter-puncher. He's gifted defensively, and his overhand right is one of the best, if not the best in the game. So all the things that Pacquiao is open for, Mayweather does brilliantly. So the thought of Pacquiao ever having a chance of beating Mayweather was at best laughable. I mean,
no, there's always a puncher's chance.
Mayweather, you know what?
And that's what it was. It
was a puncher's chance, but a puncher's chance
that made it interesting.
Yeah, but it's a puncher's chance against the best defensive boxer ever. So,
but I mean, other than
has looked vulnerable his last 2 or 3 fights.
But other than Pacquiao, who would have the next best chance?
I mean, that's what happens with a gifted fighter. You struggle to find people who can beat him, and at the end of the day, you almost have to wait for Father Time to slow down someone's reflexes, slow down someone's speed. Just like with the case of Roy Jones, you wait for things to happen that slow them down, and then after that, then you can start capitalizing on it. But it's very hard to beat certain fighters when they're in their prime.
The case with Roy Jones is he just started facing competition because he had a soft career too, and this was my problem with the Mayweather is a lot of his record is against soft competition. But not to take away from his last fight, I felt that this last fight was a really good fight.
So
and he
Pacquiao had
proved
soft
stuff.
competition? Because Mayweather fought those people first before Pacquiao. So if you're going to say that about Mayweather having soft competition, you better say that about Pacquiao, which you never say. You always say that Pacquiao fights tough people, but you refuse to give Mayweather credit for fighting and beating these people first, which I find very ironic.
Who beat Cotto first?
Well, at a drained weight.
Yeah, I mean,
Pacquiao also beat De La Hoya, but Mayweather beat De La Hoya first
right.
at De La Hoya's natural weight.
With De La Hoya calling the shots for everything. Well, you know, I mean, I guess we can debate the Mayweather-Pacquiao. It's one of those debates that's been going on for years, and it's not going to stop with us. But we, you know, before we get a bunch of like dislikes, let's talk about.
Well, let's talk about the mega fight that is now, what, done in your opinion?
I don't think that
it's not gonna happen.
I never thought that fight would happen as long as Bob Arum is involved, and I don't think a lot of people do. I just don't see. And you know, the thing is, I think it's more Bob Arum's utter dislike for Mayweather that will stop that fight. I mean, he really despises Mayweather like with a passion, and it's not even about money for Bob Arum. I mean, the guy is already filthy rich, so it's not even about money, because a lot of people think it's, you know, Bob Arum doesn't want to have to split the money. I don't even think it's the money. I think Bob Arum just does not like Mayweather at all and is determined to never have this fight. That's just my opinion.
What do you think?
I kind of agree with that. I see, as long as Bob Arum is promoting Pacquiao, that fight's never going to happen. So, I mean, hopefully Pacquiao decides to part ways with Bob Arum for his own good, for the good of the sport, and somehow make this fight happen. You know,
let me ask you guys a question. Why do you think Pacquiao has stayed with Bob Arum? I've never been able to figure this out. There've been these reports coming that Pacquiao was fronted money for gambling issues. There have been various reports on different things, but to this day, I've never been able to figure out why Pacquiao.
Well,
because
there was this several years ago.
Let me finish real quick. It's just very odd because the blueprint was laid out by De La Hoya first, who laid out a blueprint of when you reach when your name is a certain marquee name and your contract comes to an end, you basically leave your promoter because your name is enough to carry yourself, which Pacquiao's name has been enough to carry himself since at least '08. You leave your promoter and you promote yourself. That way you don't have to split the money coming in. Why would you give up 40% of your money to a promoter when you can keep it all to yourself and promote yourself? So with that being said, Mayweather followed the same blueprint. So it's just odd that Pacquiao didn't follow that same blueprint after his name became a marquee name. I'm baffled by it. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think because Pacquiao is not the brightest person to begin with. He doesn't seem like he's that smart.
You know, people say it's because Pacquiao is not smart, but then, you know, that's very insulting for someone who wants to be the president of his country. If your goal is to be the president of your country and you can't even branch off for yourself, it just leaves a lot of questions. And actually, I'm going to defend Pacquiao and say, I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's because he's not smart enough to know that he's better off promoting himself. I think there's something else to it.
Well, you know, I'm not too familiar on how promoting a boxing fight works.
When you have a promoter, he takes 40% of your earnings, if not more.
Yeah, but I know there's a lot involved in that too. Wouldn't you say? So even Mayweather to this day needs help. When he's promoting, he's always looking for guidance from Golden Boy. He doesn't do a promotion.
He needs to fill up the undercard.
Right.
Yeah, and that's all involved with promotion too.
So you're saying Pacquiao never branched off for himself because he was worried about...
Well, Pacquiao several years ago tried to branch to Golden Boy, and there was a big lawsuit because he was still under contract with Top Rank.
But once again, why wouldn't he branch off to himself?
Well, he probably sees Bob Arum as a friend type, to where he's helped him get all of these endorsements with Hennessy, Nike, Fear, No Fear.
Actually,
Before Nike was No Fear.
Actually, wait. Your management team is the one that gets you the endorsements. The promoter doesn't actually come in with the endorsements. That's actually your management team. So
I'm sure they're all involved.
no, actually, it's well, with Pacquiao, who knows? But normally, what happens is your management team will go out and find endorsements for you. Your promoter is strictly supposed to deal with just promoting your fights and getting you your next fight.
And to be honest, I think Pacquiao has asked for so many advancements,
right,
that he's almost
in debt.
In debt to have to fight under him just to make up for those advancements.
I
Because I have read some things throughout the years where he does ask for advancements.
Right, I lean heavily towards that too, because the only thing I can think of that is that he owes Bob Arum money. When you owe someone money, you don't have the choice of saying, I want to get out of this contract. You don't get out of the contract until you owe the money. And, you know, if anyone's ever taken out a loan, you know that if you take out a loan for, let's say you take out a loan for $100, you're going to have to pay back about $200. So if Pacquiao took out a loan for maybe $1 million, maybe he owes $3 million.
Well, I think they're not loans, they're just advancements to his payday. It
doesn't matter. Bob Arum's not an idiot. He's going to do whatever's in his favor. So if he's giving you an advancement, you can be sure there's stipulations to the advancement that say, like, you know, based upon the interest, at whatever rate this is, you're going to have to end up paying me this much money back.
I mean, that could all be true, but I'm thinking it's more like Pacquiao's, he's such a loyal person. I think he's just being loyal, and I think that loyalty's going to come to an end. I mean, Cotto
but that's
strayed away from Bob Arum after years, and he swore by Bob Arum, but now I feel like he's realized that this guy is, you know.
Well, I don't think that's loyalty. I think that's stupidity. But you know, because I don't feel Pacquiao stupid, I'm gonna lean more in favor of, like, there's something going on where he has to pay back a certain amount of money owed. So, do you guys think there should be a 50-50 split? I mean, can we even pull off the 50-50 split after yesterday's?
No, I think the fight's over. I think
it's a wrap.
The fight's not going to generate the millions that it once was projected to do. Right. We were talking about hundreds of millions?
Yeah, we had it earning a lot of money.
Yeah, you had it earning too much. But
I think it still does. I think it still generates the money. I think people still want to see, you know, Pacquiao get knocked out or Pacquiao knock out Mayweather. I mean,
I disagree. I don't think it's going to earn as much as it potentially could have had that fight happened in May of this year.
No, or had this decision not happened. This past decision with Bradley kind of killed it.
The decision also,
and I think it kind of
does something.
Bob Arum did this on purpose to kind of stick it to Mayweather, sort of, kind of telling him, you're not going to cash in on my guy either.
But actually, I think the fight started losing luster with the Marquez fight in November. I think after the Marquez fight with Pacquiao, I think that's when I think people started saying, well, you know, at this point, I don't see how Pacquiao could beat Mayweather. So I think the fight should have happened in 2010.
Yeah, and this fight, this fighter was supposed to make Pacquiao look good after the Marquez fight, and it all went wrong.
But, you know, the thing about fighting is all about matching your opponent. So if Bradley's matched against the right opponents, Bradley could conceivably remain a champion for the next 3-4 years, maybe even longer, who knows. But fighting is always about matching your opponents. You know, there's actually a technique when it comes to fighting certain fighters. You want to fight someone who's going to make you look good and make you look strong and faster than the next fighter. So there's actually a technique in that, which once again goes back to what I was saying about your promoter knowing who to match you with, and that's why you want to sign with a good promoter, which Bob Arum is very good at.
And speaking of which, Bob Arum still has Amir Khan, who he could hot potato the torch.
Actually, Amir Khan is
Bradley
under
to Amir
Golden
Khan.
Boy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Amir Khan is under Golden Boy.
But All right, so it looks like we covered this part 2 of Knuckle or Buckle. Thanks for watching.
By the way, Mayweather, stay strong. See you in about 2 months.
And we definitely have a lot more topics, so stay tuned for part 3 here on Knuckle or Buckle.